Oh, good noon or marhaba if you speak Turkish. Oh, hello if you speak English. This pattern and this talk that I am going to show you today has some history. First of all, I was planning slightly different pattern for today, but yesterday I had a talk with Aslam Qureshi, and we discussed pattern from Al-Aqsa, and I think we can discuss it today because it has some kind of interesting features for us. In fact, there are two patterns, two photos of this pattern from Al-Aqsa. One, this is from the old mosque, and then there is new pattern, even worse than this one, that was created when the minbar was burnt, and they reconstructed a new pattern. So a story is long, and I don't wish to talk about this story really. You can find this story on the internet, how the new minbar in Al-Aqsa Mosque was developed, and then there is a good book. Well, a book. Okay, I don't say that this is a good book, but there is a book about rebuilding. Okay, I don't have this book just close to me. One day I will show you. And there's a book about rebuilding the pattern, the minbar in Al-Aqsa. And this pattern, surprisingly, is included there in much worse than this version that you see on the screen. So let's go to the next page. The first thing is that, okay, let me to just remove my face. And then first thing is that the same pattern, exactly the same, you have on the Topkapi scroll. Look what you're getting here. This triangular shape, it is here, okay? Then you have all these petals, like here. And by the way, this petal is wrong, okay? It does not have a symmetry, proper symmetry, but the rest looks fine. So that is the drawing. That is the drawing from the Topkapi scroll. Unknown Persian architect was drawing it, and he was suggesting also a method for solving this pattern, for redrawing it. Okay, so he was suggesting a very similar method to the one that we use in decagonal patterns. And you can easily find out that, for example, a shape like this, if I make it here, display color red, okay, it is like this. So if you make angle bisector for this corner, construct angle bisector, it is passing through this point. Okay, my drawing is slightly inaccurate, but in a real design, you can find that the bisector of this angle is just passing through this point. So construction like this one looks very easy. But let's leave this for a moment. I don't want to follow this construction. I have my own, let's say, more interesting, and we'll come to it later. Now, in a pattern like this one, we need to create one part only. Okay, normally we talk about 4 parts, but here just one part only is enough. So which means on this design we need to make just this part. And you have exactly the same like here. You have petals, petals, then you have two petals, and then the top part. For a craftsman, many craftsmen are doing kundekari form. This is a kundekari form. It means woodworking. It is essential that all petals are the same, because this is saving a lot of work. If you have all shapes the same, you're just producing one type of the petal and then you're repeating it all over. So that is really fine. In the new minbar in Al-Aqsa Mosque, these shapes, these two shapes, were fatter than you have them here and shorter than you have them here. So it is definitely wrong. It was definitely a wrong design. But let me to go further to the material that I made. You see, if you compare this pattern from Topkapi scroll with the Burgoyne drawing, I will just draw it like this. Okay, and this is what I am showing, taking. Display color red. Okay, so this is the Burgoyne drawing of another pattern. Look how similar they are. If I draw the mirror line, then I'm getting also this what I have here on the right side. And the only thing is different. Here you have this hexagon. Well, a kind of hexagonal shape. And if you skip it, then definitely you will get this nice gap like here. There is also another way, another version of this pattern. Instead of having closed these lines, and let me to make it black. Okay, display color. Okay, if you make a gap here, if you remove these segments, you will get a pattern with a kind of seven-folded shape, polygon, and then with another gap here. So there are many ways of approaching it and doing it. My original plan for today was this pattern. So we can do this one and we can do this one. There's no problem with this at all. Okay. I was playing with shapes, and this is my petal shape, but this is the short petal shape. Then what I did, okay, just let me to go. So that's part of my play. I created this. Okay, that's the one here. Okay, and then I create the petal like this. Okay, so this is for the rosette, for the big rosette, for the octagon, the dodecagon. And then what else I made? Yes, I made also a thing like this, which sometimes can be useful. Okay, it's the same like this one, but if you look here, if I draw a line, okay, so everything what is below the line here was cut. So that's the only difference. Okay, don't remove anything because then you get into trouble. So my play was like this, and then I made a construction, but we'll come back to this construction. We'll come back to this thing, and then I made a pattern like this one, and then I made a pattern like this one. So that's a typical woodworking work, the same one that the Kundekari masters in Turkey, for example, Ismet Terzi is doing things like this. Okay, let me to start a work for today. I will go to one of the pages that I skipped. Yes, okay. Yeah, okay, to this one. And let's construct this, let's copy this page later because I don't want to leave you without any problem. So, my approach in this design is the following one. I was playing with different things, okay, and I really don't want to go into details. You see, just recently, I prefer to use shapes like this instead of shapes like those that were shown in the Topkapi scroll. Okay, this is what you have in Topkapi scroll, that trapezium like this. You can do two ways and each of them will give you exactly the same result. My new way is not really a new way because Kundekari masters are doing this quite frequently, is by just going through the polygons like this. So the biggest problem in this case is construct tessellation, but such the tessellation that if we make a petal inside of them, we will get the same petal here, the same petal all over the design. So what I did, let me to remove these things and let me to remove these things. This is what normally we are doing. Okay, let me to put it down and then so what I made, I started the bottom drawing. I made a horizontal, then I made two vertical lines. This is what I repeat in almost every my video. Then I divided this angle into 6 equal parts. Okay, 6, that is convenient to have 6 because we are talking about a dodecagonal design, so these are just my divisions. Okay, you can skip every second, but there's no harm to do a division of this angle into 6 parts instead of dividing it into 3 parts. Now, I did the same for both corners, and these lines intersect in some way. That's fine. Let they do it. And now what I do, I took the top right corner, I took this point, and I took this point. Let's make these points red, and let's them make them point large. These are the 3 points. So taking these 3 points, construct, and then that's essential, angle bisector. Okay, the angle bisector. This is our angle bisector. I can do the same here. Okay, construct angle bisector. That's fine. But what I am getting these two parallel lines. They are not really important. The important is this point. So what I will do, I will just go this way, and then the same way I will go to this point. Okay, and now I have to stop making points red, so I will just make one point and display point style medium and display color other. Okay, I don't need too many red points. So what I got, look at this. Drawing a segment like this and display color red, and then drawing another segment like this, and then drawing this. The same I do here, okay, and then I do here. Then what I do things like this, and I do things like this. You can also make a line here, but I don't want to have too many lines. I already have here, I think, 2 lines. Okay, so display height segment. Okay, display line style solid. Okay, so I have the lines here. Now what I will do, double click, take this point and also take this segment, transform reflect, and then like this, and the same, precisely the same I do on the right side. So selecting these elements, transform reflect, and then getting this. So you see I got my tessellation. Let's file as document options, add duplicate page 9. Okay, so I have 2 pages with the same design. Now I go to the previous page, it means to the page 9. Okay, and then I can play a bit with this page. So let's hide these circles, and you can also hide these lines. You don't need them. Okay, and now if you are, let's say, like many mathematicians, you will have to be sure that you did everything correctly. So you see, if I draw this circle, I get this segment and this segment, they are equal. And this segment is equal these 3. And this one is also equal these 3. Why? Because they are the radii of the same circle. So as for me, I don't need to calculate anything here. It is enough for me just to get things visually well done. That's the right thing. If you wish, you can calculate. You can just say, okay, measure ratio. The ratio is 1. Sketchpad is confirming everything perfectly fine. Okay, so you can do quite a lot of calculations. There's no problem with them. Okay, you can also calculate this angle, measure this angle is 75, but you can also measure this angle, measure angle. It is also 75. So this means from mathematical point of view, at least from visual point of view, everything is perfectly done. Now, let me to go further. The specific feature of this pattern is that this point and this point are connected. If I draw a line like this, line style, just make it black. Okay, if I draw black line, this line is connecting midpoint of this edge and midpoint is. So this is my midpoint. This is the midpoint of the bottom edge, and I do a line like this. Of course, you can see this line is just passing through it, through this midpoint of this segment, so everything is perfectly fine. We can proceed out of this. Now, let's go to our clean page. Our clean page, I didn't do any calculations, I didn't do any labeling, so this is what I have here. I can hide all these segments, I can hide all these segments, and now what I can do, I can just draw lines, but this one can be thin, and another one, and okay, another one like this. Okay, that's enough for me. And all points here, edit, select all points, display point style, medium, and then display color, other. Okay, it is white. The last selected point was white. So that's our tessellation. You wish, you can make a double copy of this tessellation and put it to the right. But I don't want to spend too much time. Now, you remember what was the angle between the bottom angle of this shape, okay, trapezium. It is 75, okay? So, number, calculate 90 minus 75, it is 15, and you have all data ready for your design. So go to the next page, File, Document Options, Add, Blank Page, and now let's start developing line. Okay, now what I do, I just take this point, I select this line, transform, rotate, and then I am asking 75, that's fine. I need to put minus in the front because I want to rotate the other way. Now, then transform, rotate, but this time without minus. Okay, and of course you can expand this thing, but I will just make thin line. Okay, and then what I will need also, okay, I will need a line that is perpendicular to the bottom edge, just like this, and this is the midpoint. Okay, perfectly fine. You can also draw this segment because you remember what we said. Take a midpoint, and take a midpoint of this, construct midpoints, okay, and we said this, get a line like this, display, color, black. You can do the same if you want. Okay, now another thing, transform, reflect, okay, then transform, reflect, okay. Now what we do, we go just make bisector, construct bisector, and then take this line, reflect, okay, and now take this line and reflect. Okay, so look, we got practically everything. The whole design, it is just everything what you have here. And then the rest is just decoration. Okay, line. This is medium. Yes, okay. And then it looks fine. So we got the petal. And now what we can do, we can just say this. First, select all lines. I don't want to have these lines, so hide these lines. Also hide this bisector. And now my first tool is like this. Selecting these points, selecting these segments. Yes, okay. And then what I do just single petal, no extension. Okay, so this is what I did. Now, next thing I do, I just select all what I have here, and now I create another tool. So another tool, petal for the rosette. Okay, that is this. Okay, let's check what we got. Single petal looks like this, and of course I missed this point. Okay, I can just do this again. So no extension. Yes, the name is overwriting. So I have my single petal like this. Yes, and petal for the rosette, it is like this, and all points are ready. Now, let's go to my tessellation. Now we can use this tessellation and we can build whatever we want. Document options, add, duplicate, page 10, okay. Now I will need space. Okay, I will need space, just like this. I have to remove it. Now what I will do, double click, just like this. I don't wish to repeat this segment. I don't wish to repeat this segment and this point because they are already there. Okay, so transform, reflect. Yes, and now we can go further. So now, single petal, no extension. This will be this one. This will be this one. And this one. And this one. And this way. And this way. Okay. Now, petal for the rosette. That's the one here. Okay, I missed something. Okay. And then is another one. And then it's like this. Okay. And then you're getting precisely this what we wanted. And now, yes, I need to fill this part. Okay, so look what we got. We got exactly what was on the Topkapi scroll drawing, but the red lines are not according to my concept. The relation between the red lines on my drawing here and the drawing in the Topkapi scroll is quite simple. If you take construct perpendicular line, okay, and then if you draw a line like this, a line like this, and then if you take here, not this one, construct perpendicular line, you see, I will just mark it. Okay, so that's the trapezium that you have in the Topkapi scroll. Precisely the same one. Precisely the same one. Look, okay, it is the one here. Okay, exactly the same. These lines are slant. In my drawing, they are also slant, and the angle is absolutely the same. So I can hide this. Okay, I can undo it really. So file, document options, add, duplicate 12. Okay, and now I don't need these lines. And then what I will do, I will just hide all these red lines. Yeah, okay. I should do this earlier, but it's no problem at all. So I hide these objects. Now I can remove these segments and also this one. Okay, and this one. Display hide objects. Okay, so that's the pattern that we can find in Al-Aqsa Mosque, and there's absolutely no difference between this pattern and the pattern from Topkapi scroll. So that's the one thing. Document options, add, duplicate page 13. Okay, and now let me to show you something. You see these gaps. These gaps can be easily color, I will make it blue, can be easily closed by lines like this. And then what you will take segment here. Okay, I will leave this blue for a moment. Okay, so this is what I'm getting. The shape like this. The same shape, exactly the same shape you can build on this side and on this side. So you can close all these gaps, no problem at all, and you will be absolutely happy with this. Another solution, I will just put to the next page, add duplicate page 14. Another thing, you see, if you take angle bisector for this shape, construct angle bisector, or make this line thin. Okay, and you remember we had here a line. So what I do, I can take this point. This is the center of the whole story, and I can make a circle just like this. And then what I can do a line like this, line style medium. Okay, now I can hide these lines. Okay, and then I can close this thing. Okay, I got a shape that is, let's say, with 7 edges. It is not a regular heptagon because you see these lengths are not the same. This one and this one is not the same. And the same, what I can do, it is just here. Okay, construct angle bisector. Okay, I need only this point. So display, hide this bisector. Again, I will do a circle. Then I will draw this one. Okay. Now I will remove these segments and I will put like this. Okay. And then we got another pattern. Okay. Line style thin. We got a pattern with a shape like this. Well, I even don't know how to call it, but you can find a good name for this shape. So that is what you can get from the same tessellation and in fact from the same pattern. So what we did this. We developed the original Al-Aqsa pattern. Yes, okay. No, that's not the one. This is the original Al-Aqsa. Okay, so that's the original Al-Aqsa pattern and Topkapi scroll. Okay, fine. So this is this. Then here, this part, okay, this part, it is just, okay, how to do it? I will just select all these lines. Yeah, okay. Display, hide lines. Okay, and now I need this part here. So this point is the middle way, just like this. Transform, rotate 180 degrees, perfectly fine. Okay, and now the same here. So yeah, okay, double click, transform, rotate 180 degrees. Okay, so this is the second pattern, and this is in fact the pattern that I was planning to do with you today. And of course you can make it smaller and just a regular Kundekari design. So I could make it like this and then double click, just selecting whatever I have here. I didn't bother too much about points. Transform, reflect. Okay, so let me to slow it down. Now take this point, this segment, so hide segments. Now display hide objects, and now display hide objects. Okay, and then select points, edit, select all points, edit, action button, hide and show. Okay, and that is this. So that is the plan, the pattern that I was planning to do with you today. And of course, you can also have a variation like this. So I don't know if pattern like this exists anywhere, but you can try. Also, what you can do, you can fix this part because it is much bigger than the one here. So I think I can just get, okay, that's a good solution. So what I will do, I will just hide. Okay, no, that's too much asking. Can I delete? Okay, and then can I delete this one? And I don't need this. Look, what you have here looks like this. Line, and line. Okay. And then, of course, we had this bisector that I removed. So construct the bisector. So we got this point. And this point, if I draw a circle, I will be sure that this circle and these shapes, okay, I'm not really sure if these shapes are equal, but I can live with this. But what I really want to get, I really want to get here the same length like this one. So this shape, this circle doesn't help me much, and this line also. What I do like this. First, I missed this point, this segment, and then this was, I think it was black. Okay, and now what I can do, I can start from here and I can draw a line like this. Okay, now double click, transform, reflect. Okay, and now what I do just the line this way, and now I can construct my heptagon this way. It is slightly different than the previous one. It is slightly different because it will be narrower. Okay, and make this line medium. And this segment is shorter than this one, but the difference is not so big. Okay, and now double click, select these points and these segments. And again, double click here, transform, rotate 180 degrees. Okay, and then hide these lines. Okay, so you're getting a petal, well, a shape like this. It is slightly nicer than the previous one, but the choice is really up to you, which way you're going to go. Okay, okay, I think I made my points. I made my constructions. You can follow each of them and you can develop at least 3 or 4 different patterns out of this film. And I will be happy to see what you did. Now let me to go back to my drawings. You see what I did here, I did a thing like this. So this was the main line for the main pattern, but then I took extra points and I developed the extra lines, and I felt you can do it on your own and you can do it big, many lines, smaller shapes and so on. That's really what you can do on your own. Okay, and then let me to go back. Okay, that's was what was made by me for my thing. I will post this thing on the Instagram today, so you will be seeing it today. But I am expecting your works to see your works on Instagram, or if you are in the Seljuk group, WhatsApp Seljuk group, you can send me your work on this group. Today I got a nice pattern from Bushra and she made really, really good work. So I know that at least some of you are interested in this, what we are doing, and some of you are doing a great job. Okay, so let me to finish everything. So I have to just like always fiddle with Zoom menus. Yes, I found pause stop recording. So I'm stopping recording and see you with the next video.